until you begin to hate your situation is when you'll finally change your situation. So the burning the boats mentality is only if you really want to win that bad. How hard are you really willing to go? Only if you are okay with letting go of your old self. That's what they don't tell you about manifesting your true life and your new life. So all the emotions people had around me, the reason I didn't feel them is because I associated more pain with staying there than I did with where I was going. And so did they technically, but they didn't have the courage and will to leave. So they were the ones crying. I wasn't crying, and I'm the one leaving, going into the unknown forest, place I've never been. And that's the key distinction I want you guys to make is like, if you have fear, maybe it's just because you haven't had enough faith in your current destination that you're going to be going to. Because I just looked at my life and I'm like, yeah, I know I'm supposed to be doing way more with my life in this town of people who have no future. So I'll do anything it takes to go there. I look at my life like an onion, and there's layer after layer after layer after layer, and my core is in the middle. And my mission and vision is to accomplish this core purpose, peel back every single layer.
Tell me about those layers. What layers have you taken off? What's
The first
one or
layer
two or three?
was to find a passion. I enjoyed cutting hair. That was the outside. The second layer was to scale that passion up, and I finally peeled that up. The third layer was not just to scale it up, but to find mentors who could emulate the traits of a man who I wanted. I didn't realize it, but I liked their traits more than their craft. It wasn't the craft that I was after. So I found mentors who, they were good at the craft, but they were also dope human beings. And I was able to convince them to take me under their wing and teach me. I got real resourceful. And that was a layer, was finding mentors that would guide me. The fourth layer was realizing the fitness and health journey that is really the foundation of my life now. And peeling back layers of...
How long did it take you to get to that layer?
That layer took me 5 years of failing and realizing that the path I was on of being a vegan wasn't it.
I was just going to say, how about that vegan stuff?
And so there's so many layers. Next layer was masculinity. I realized that to be respectful and to be respected, the best thing a man could do is get big. Listen, I know that there's problems in life that don't all get solved just by gaining muscle and size. But guess what? There's majority of them that do. The reason that you don't want to admit this is because it takes years of work and sacrifice and dedication. Anything that is great is going to take time and sacrifice. To build a great physique can't be bought. Therefore, you actually have to earn it. You can't just go buy a new pair of designer clothes that you feel temporary confidence in, bro. Let's take your shirt off and look at you in the mirror. That's the real truth. And I knew that was going to eventually come to the light, but I kept it in the dark for a while. And I just focused on that craft, that top layer, and said like, no, money in business, I'll just keep peeling this layer back. Well, guess what? I peeled it back multiple 6 figures by 23 years old. And then I looked in the mirror like, okay, now what? Oh, shoot. I still suck at being me. I got good at this business, but there's a layer underneath that I didn't peel back, which was the guy in the mirror. And I realized it was this little man, the childhood trauma of that low self-esteem and low self-worth, chronically people-pleasing. And that was a layer in itself that, to be honest, I still haven't fully peeled back. There's times where I feel anxious around people who I admire because I know that somewhere deep within, I'm looking up to them on a pedestal. And the way to solve this, you guys, is to do an inner child meditation where you reparent yourself. I had to reparent myself. For 2 months, I did an inner child course, and that really just showed me that I had a lot of an ego around how cool I thought I was. Because of this outer layer, if you guys look at the core purpose, the outer layers of purpose, outer layer, I only peeled back one layer, and it was barbering. And I thought I was the man, but deep down inside there's this little boy who still doesn't trust himself. He doesn't trust his owner. I almost look at myself like I'm in charge of this little boy, and I ignored him for so long that he was self-sabotaging all my pursuits. I was trying to start a YouTube channel. I was making all this money, but not making the correct decisions to be disciplined with my finances enough to keep it. It's all because of him. He was trying to get my attention, and he finally did. Next was...
He finally did. That's the first time I've ever heard you say that.
He got my attention, for sure. I was ignoring him for a while.
So what was his message?
His message was, bro, none of that material stuff, all that stupid outer layer material life that you're searching
The
for,
car.
that ain't as powerful as me. What if you attached me to all your purposes and endeavors in life? You'll go a lot farther. People will love you because in each person we have an authenticity and a uniqueness that is God made. However, we walk around this earth with our human endeavors and try to force things. What if we just allowed ourselves to unlock our true personality, which you have inside you? You have this charisma and this essence about you, bro. If you can walk in this earth and realize that you don't have to be anything other than yourself, man, that's a beautiful thing, bro. And I was always so scared to do it because I told you guys I looked up to people from that basement. I always felt below and inferior, and the money didn't heal it. So the barber journey was just one layer to just get closer and closer to the truth. And then I moved all across the country, and then I moved out of the country. And today I got a DM to cut DaBaby. Tusi's record label hit me up and said, DaBaby needs a haircut this morning. And you guys, old me would have been happy because that's my outer layer of purpose, saying, oh, cool, more status. If I get a picture with DaBaby, his barber, I will
Did you say little baby?
DaBaby.
Okay.
But he's almost as big as Lil Baby.
I
And
love
the point
Lil
is,
Baby.
I would get so much status, so much acceptance, so much validation. So it would have been a fake outer layer. But remember what the lesson I got from that smart little boy, this little guy.
I see that.
No one's more wise than him. He told me already, bro, none of that outer success and outer accomplishments that you're chasing is actually going to fulfill you, bro. No materials could measure what your soul's worth, bro. And so today, on days like today where I'm out here in Mexico getting a tattoo of Stoic wisdom, I'm reminded that it gives me peace that it's okay to miss out on a DaBaby haircut and give that opportunity to another young barber who hasn't peeled back that layer of purpose yet. So what did I do? I reached out to South Bay Chris and another barber on Instagram to make sure they got the opportunity, because I don't need it. And when you pass the power to your people, there's nothing realer. I've already accomplished that layer. I didn't need to take that opportunity. What I needed to do was go closer to my core purpose, which is to get out of my own way. All our desires start at an immature level and they rise to maturity. So I hate when people try to say, bro, you just start off your journey as like you could be all wise and you don't have to chase money. No, bro, you gotta chase all that stuff to realize it wasn't the true answer. All of it. All of it. You can't just ascend. Maslow's hierarchy of needs starts out the way it does for a reason. And enlightenment is at the very top for a reason. There's no skipping steps, bro. So enlightenment, you don't just skip from a little boy to a wise old man. That takes years. And I'm 26. My goal is
So
to
you
get
need
there.
foundations.
My goal is to listen to my conscience all the way there. And if God blesses me with any more years of life, I just promise to honor that little boy's advice, because he never steers me wrong. God will never steer you wrong. My conscience never steered me wrong. It was only when I didn't listen. And so that's my knowledge now, is that each layer of purpose is getting me closer to the core. And I know it has something to do with being the best version of myself and giving that man to the world. And I have complete faith in that destiny. I don't know what it looks like, and that's not what matters. All that matters is that I choose the calling of my conscience. And for you right now, if you could just realize, bro, you're going to be ripped one day, you're going to be jacked, you're going to be confident and charismatic, but guess what? None of that stuff's going to matter. You're going to finally realize that all that surface level stuff you were chasing, the tattoos, the muscles, the cool haircut, the jewelry, the attention, the followers, it wasn't for you. It was just so that you could manifest that change in others.
That's a wrap.
It's a wrap.